Well, welcome back. It is the last week that I'm gonna be open to the public. This will be our 8th week in a row where we've picked all day long, sold all day long, and it's kind of coming to an end, at least to the public side. So it's been, like I said, it's been 8 weeks, feels like about 8 months, but it's been some long days, but we're getting to the end. Still got stuff to sell, but I think by the end of the week we're going to be out of a few things, and then we'll switch over to the wholesale side only after this week. So our last day should be Saturday, August the 3rd. Tomatoes here are starting to get a little ugly, so I don't know how much longer we're going to pick them. You know, this will go in the number 2 grade. It's just cracks from rain and sun. These are on the top of the tomato plant too, where they don't get much shade from the foliage. So we're still getting a few good ones, but it's not a lot. So this is definitely going to run out of tomatoes here before the end of the week. So we're probably going to quit. We may strip the plants. I'll show you in the field what's left. But sometimes we just kind of strip the plants and sell them, especially to these guys in the back, and just put them all in a box and kind of lower the price and sell them cheaper, and they'll usually take them because that's all we got left. All right, I'm headed to the field, look around a little bit. We are out of watermelons and cantaloupes temporarily. I think I told you that was going to happen. This past week, today's Monday, the week before here, it was, I don't think the sun came out literally for 10 minutes the whole week. It was cloudy. We got about 2 to 2¼ inches of rain over the week, you know, spread out through 5 or 6 days, but it was a lot of drizzling, very unusual for July. And it never really rained that hard, but it rained enough to, you know, be 2 inches or more. But anyway, my point was I probably slowed the watermelons and cantaloupes down, my late crop, just a little bit. It's going to be back to being, you know, normal hot temperatures like we're used to here in July this week, and probably from here on out. That was just kind of an unusual weather event for us. So my retail people, customers, a lot of them are disappointed that we're out of watermelons and cantaloupes, and more than likely, I'm almost 100% sure that they're not going to be ready before we close on August the 3rd to give people another chance, you know, to get any. So we'll sell all of them to the truckers in the back, wholesale, and we've still got lots of peas, purple hulls to pick over the next probably month. And I don't know that we'll be completely through with the peaches by the end of this week. We'll have to see. But I'm almost positive we're not going to have tomatoes for the whole week. And some of the other things like the peppers and the squash, whatever we have left after this week, we'll just, you know, clean up and don't worry about it, because it's not going to be that much anyway. All right, we're out in the field, and I'm going to show you a few things. Okay, you remember I showed you a video or 2 ago about the old watermelons here that we plowed up after we finished harvesting to see if they'll make any more. That's what these are. So I'm gonna look a little closer and see what we can find. There's a pretty good size one right there. I was expecting them to be smaller. I don't see any more like that right here, but we're gonna keep looking. There's another one right there. I don't know, I still think I'm gonna keep them for a while because it's, like I said, it's not costing me anything. We may come through here and pull some of these bigger pigweeds. I know it's gonna probably get weedy because we've had a lot of rain, and definitely the grass, which I could spray the grass here, but remember now, we've plowed up all these middles old vines making new vines. So whatever we get out of here will just be a bonus. Here's an example I've showed you before about the little melons that will rot when they sit on the wet ground. That's an example right there. And that's the size they'll do it to, right? You know, about the size of your half of your thumb. Once they get a little bigger, they won't do it. There's another little melon there. So we'll see. You know, if they're ready at the same time as my late crop, it may be hard for us to get around in here to picking them. In the past, when it's worked out, that they've been a little bit either before or after my late crop. There's some more here. These look pretty good here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we may make some. But like I said, it may be hard for us to get to them if we've got the late field, and that'll be priority because they'll be, you know, I'm sure bigger size and a little better quality. All right, here we are out here in the tomatoes. You know, in places there's still a few. Like I've said, you know, they're ugly, a lot of them. Maybe we'll leave some of these green ones and see if they'll size up a little bit before the week's over. Pick some of them, but there's just not a whole lot left. You know, these plants are pretty old. We've been picking on them for 8 weeks or more. You know, here's like I was talking about too. A lot of what's left is in the top of the plant. With all the rain we've had and the sun, scars them up there cosmetically. But we'll get what we can. And if it's not worth it anymore, we'll just quit. Okay, these are the second planting of watermelons that we've plowed up, but we've gone ahead and cut the vines, what's left on top of the plastic. So that way we'll be ready to pull up the plastic and clean it up. If we don't get to it right now, it'll, you know, start to grow back, and those volunteer watermelons and cantaloupes will start coming up. In fact, some of them are already coming up. I'll have to spray it. So more than likely we won't get to it right now, but at least it'll be cut, and all I have to do is just spray it, and we'll come back with the mulch lifter and pick all this up. This is the second round of melons, like I said, and all the cantaloupes. I don't have time to wait and see if they'll make anything else. So that's why we've already cleaned this up. Okay, this is the okra. It's probably about at least 4 foot tall, maybe taller. See the little okra there. Puts out these white blooms there in the top. And then it doesn't take it but a day or two to make a little pod of okra. You know, that okra will just keep making and making, but we don't keep picking it. Probably after this week, what I usually do is I have one of the guys that comes to the back, he likes to bring some people with him and keep picking it for maybe a month. So that's kind of what I usually do with the okra. It would make, especially with the rain that we've had, you know, it would make up, they say till frost. I've never kept it that long, but I don't really have anywhere to go with that much okra once we close to the public. So we don't completely terminate it, but as far as us picking it, it's probably gonna be over after this week. Okay, we're still getting a lot of peaches. Probably still picking probably 3 truckloads a day. On the last couple of weeks we've been doing that. You can see how big they are. These are the Albertas. It's our last variety. So when these are over, that'll be it on the peaches, but we sure have picked a lot of them this year. And we'll probably go right up to the closing day on the peaches. I feel like we'll have them up until the last day. We are still getting squash, #1 squash, #1 pickling cucumbers, #1 slicers, and okra. You know, the guys in the back, some of them still come without the watermelons and cantaloupes. You know, they'll get whatever we got boxed up, peaches, tomatoes, squash, peppers, eggplant, cucumbers, all that. Some of them don't. Some of them, all they want is just the watermelons and cantaloupes. Some of them want all of it. Some of them may go elsewhere and get their melon somewhere else and then come here and get the other. So, but we don't have them lined up like we did. But those guys still come periodically throughout the day and get what they can. What my guys caught out in the field barehanded. Still alive. I think that's the 3rd raccoon they've caught barehanded. They're younger ones, they're not the adults, but still, I think that's pretty impressive. But we've trapped a bunch of them. We trap a bunch of them every year, especially during sweet corn time. But this is the first year I think they've started catching them barehanded, and anyway, that's the 3rd one. It's a little hard to see, but we just got through loading this guy with mostly all squash, a little bit of cucumbers. He's one of the guys that gets my #2 squash and cucumbers. We only had 14 boxes of those today, and so he wanted to supplement it with some #1s. So we got him loaded down. Here's an example. This guy's getting those are little old like personal watermelons or something. They're not from me. He picks them up somewhere else and then comes by here and gets squash, tomatoes, etc. Every one of these guys that were lined up for melons when we had them, they'll all be back whenever we start back. All right, they're still trying to give me the very best of whatever they can find. I'm hoping we can do this at least for a couple more days. What I do right before we start harvesting every planting of peas, I come through here with a pyrethroid. I like to use bifenthrin and spray them, you know, soon before we start picking them. Try to knock out any worms or anything that's gonna punch a hole in those pods to go after those little peas. You know, these peas are got something like this, little pencil pods. A few of them starting to turn purple. A lot of them are like this. We'll probably be in here probably within 3 to 5 days. You can see, I mean, it's just loaded with pods all the way down. tell really how tall it is, but they're waist high on me. So these are pretty healthy, all purple hulls. All right, well, fast forward to the next morning, and I'm gonna give you a little update on the later melon crops and show you what they look like. I don't know that I've ever had a more healthier looking vines than these. You can see we've already turned the vines once. You can see kind of my tractor tracks right here where I spray. It's hard to get a handle on how tall they are. I'm gonna get my tape measure out and show you. These things are 24 to some of them almost 30 inches deep. These little watermelons in here are gonna be almost white because they literally are not gonna get a bit of sunshine. But we've had them kind of like that before, but it won't matter. It's a pretty field though. It's hope nothing happens to it before we can get them all harvested. These are the red meat right here. We'll walk down to the yellow and the cantaloupes. Okay, these are the yellow meats. Vines are very nice, but they're not quite as deep, which is fine as the reds. They're not quite as vigorous, but they're gonna be earlier. You can see we've got melons size of a football or bigger. These are the cantaloupes, both sides of the drive row here all the way down. Let's see, we've got some right here that are already pretty good size, but still good and green. Maybe a week or more, I hope. It's gonna be hot this week, maybe 7 to 10 days. We'll start maybe on the cantaloupes and the yellows. Then maybe after we start on the yellows, maybe a week after that, maybe we'll start on the reds. All right, just wanted to kind of give you a little update on the melons. Everything with the rain we've had and the temperature, sweet potatoes, peas, melons, all the later stuff looks really nice and healthy. If y'all have been a customer this summer, we appreciate you coming. If you're a customer that watches, we have had a great summer up to this point, and hopefully the weather will be good in August and September, and we can finish these crops out strong on the wholesale side, and then we'll be opening back up before you know it on the retail side in October. So anyway, we've got a video coming up. I'm gonna try to do one on the pea sheller. I did one last year, didn't really have a chance to do one this year, but after we close up to the public, I'll have a little more time. We're still gonna be shelling some peas for some people and try to kind of show you how that works. And then we'll be out here harvesting melons hopefully soon, and I'll be out there with the guys and get you some video of that and maybe some drone footage as well. So anyway, we will see y'all next time.